What is going on, everybody? It is Core Mission here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about each of the Starfighter classes revealed in Star Wars Squadrons, and kind of go over their purposes slash uses, and kind of talk about what their distinct advantage will be during the game. Now, if you didn't see the gameplay trailer, I'll link it down in the description below. But let's begin. Now, starting off with class number 1, we have the Fighter. Now, this is kind of described as like the flexible starfighter, or able to perform well in like a variety of situations. So it doesn't really have one specific purpose like the other 3 classes. So it's kind of more of the multi-purpose type of ship. That's kind of how I would describe it. Now, when this game comes out, I'd probably use this class first, because then you can kind of get a feeling of like what your ideal class would want to be. So if you want your ship to go faster, then you could probably go as the Interceptor. Or you think that I want more firepower, you can kind of go as a bomber. I think that I would kind of use like the Fighter class to kind of see what other class I would use. Obviously, I'm going to use all 4 of the classes, but that'll kind of give you an idea. But me, I am probably the type of person that would think that, I don't really want a distinct trait for my fighter. I just want something that would perform well in like a bunch of different situations. Now, here are the stats that they showed during the trailer. Now, this is for the fighter. Now, the thing that I like is that, even though they're both a part of the same class, one of them has like a distinct advantage than the other one in one section. So, for example, it seems like, the X-Wing has, like, more toughness than the TIE Fighter, but it seems like the TIE Fighter has more speed than the X-Wing. I like this because it kind of reflects, like, how these fighters perform in movies, because obviously X-Wings are way more stronger. I think they have shields and hyperdrives, while TIE Fighters, they're built very cheaply. They don't have shields, they don't have hyperdrives, so I like how this kind of reflects to the actual movies. Now, both of them will be using a laser cannon type weaponry. Now, the TIE Fighter will be using the SFS-L-S1 laser cannons, and the Rebellion will be using the TAME and BAK-KX-8 laser cannon. I'm really excited to see how each of these weapons would perform, but to recap, this is the type of fighter you want to use for flexibility, or you want a fighter that doesn't really have a distinct trait, but can perform well in a variety of situations. Now, moving on to the Interceptor, I think we all know what the Interceptor trait is. If you want a starfighter that is like fast and has high maneuverability, then this would probably be your class. For the Empire, we got the TIE Interceptor, and for the Rebellion, we got the A-Wing. Now, obviously, the advantages for both ships are speed. The TIE Interceptor looks slightly faster than the A-Wing, but the A-Wing looks like it's more tough than the TIE Interceptor. Now, both of them obviously perform really high in the speed section, but aren't that tough, so you definitely want to use speed to your advantage, and try not to rely on, your ship's health, I guess you could say, as it doesn't really have that much. Interceptor will be using the Signer F/A rapid fire cannon, and the A-Wing will be using the Gyril R/F rapid fire cannon. And if I was to speculate how these weapons would work, basically, since it has the word rapid fire, I think that the weapons would fire really fast but would overheat really quickly. So you can fire a bunch of shots like in a short amount of time, but the price is that your weapons will overheat very quickly. I don't know how the overheat mechanic would work in this game, but yeah. That is it for the Interceptor. Again, to recap, definitely use this ship for speed and maneuverability. I definitely have to try this class out, because this is like a game that you play in first person, so the idea of like zipping around really fast around like asteroids or like debris or something at really high speed sounds really exciting. Definitely have to give this a try. But moving on to the support class, this is like the most interesting for me. These are the kind of the starfighters that are meant to like support your squadron. So, okay, but these are like meant for support. Now, I don't know what that means by support. I don't know what they'll do for a team. But yeah, this is basically a support class. So yeah, if you're the type of player that definitely wants to like, help your team, then definitely this is, the class for you. It's in the word support. We got the TIE Reaper for the Empire, glad to see the ship, and the U-Wing for the Rebellion. I don't know how you'll be able to support the class, but you will be able to, and that's really interesting that they are bringing like a support rule to starfighters. But yeah. Now, both starfighters have pretty low firepower compared to the other classes. They have pretty good speed, and they're pretty high in terms of toughness, so it looks like these things will be able to take a hit. For the Reaper, it'll be using the Signer Ion Cannon, and for the U-Wing, it'll be using the I'm not even going to try and pronounce this, the KRUPX JR-89 ion cannon. So these are going to be using ion cannons. Now, they described it as you can disrupt enemies, so I assume that means you can disable the starfighter. That will be very helpful to your team. So even though these ships have low firepower, you can help them by, disabling the starfighter, rendering them useless for a certain amount of time, for your team to kind of like get like that swift advantage over a particular starfighter. So support class, definitely interesting, have to try it. really cool to see kind of a support class in this game. But I'm going to be moving on to the last class, which is the Bomber class. Now, this is the class you want to use if you want to take advantage in terms of firepower. So if you want to have, like, a ship that does very high damage to your enemies, this will definitely be the ship class for you. And for the Empire, you got the TIE Bomber, and for the Rebellion, you got the Y-Wing. Now, in their stats, like you'll see here. So yeah, both classes have pretty high firepower and pretty high toughness. So both of these will be able to take a hit, and these fighters will also be able to cause havoc to other starfighters. So yeah, they're also tough, like I said, so they'll be able to take a hit definitely, but they are low on speed, so they won't be able to go that fast. But you could definitely make up for that by, having high firepower and high toughness. And their weapons, the TIE Bomber will be using the Sino rotary cannon, and the Y-Wing will be using the, I cannot pronounce this, the KRUPX heavy rotary cannon. Both these sound really cool. Again, if you're the type of player that loves to use the trait of, high firepower, to summarize, this will definitely be the class for you. Again, slow speed. And personally, I wouldn't use this Starfighter because I need like some speed, but if you can really hold your own in terms with the strength and firepower, then you will probably do amazing on the field. But yeah, that's going to end the video, guys, off. Comment down below what Starfighter class seems like the most interesting to you, or comment down below the Starfighter class that you will probably use. The most interesting to me is definitely the support class, because I kind of want to see how this plays out. But the class that I might use is the fighter class, because I really like that flexibility. This has been Core Mission. Please consider liking and subscribing. Almost at 100 subscribers. Really excited for this game. Definitely have to cover this on my channel. But I'll see you all later. Peace out.